the Force can have a strong influence on the weak-minded.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Wiltshire Wishes. And today I'm talking about 5 Star Wars planets that I want to see appear in the upcoming saga films and anthology films. And I'm not just talking planets that we've seen before. I'm talking 5 planets that we have had mentioned in the films, but we've not actually seen. There are a lot, and I wish at some point they would stop going to new places and visit old places that we've not yet seen, if that makes sense. There are so many planets that they've mentioned in Star Wars films, and even now the new canon books, Rebels, Clone Wars, so much planets they mention canon, but they keep going to new ones, even just for like a split second, like in Rogue One, where we went from the farming planet where Galen was hiding, to the rings of Catherine, to Scarif, to the planet where Galen died. Just so many planets. And Jeddah. Jeddah and Scarif were the 2 that they needed. The other 3, they could have used so many other planets that we have heard of, rather than create a whole new planet that then they would never go back to. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to see new planets. I do love seeing new planets. Scarif and Jeddah were great planets to see, and Jakku, and so many more. But if you're just going to have a split-second scene there, why not use a planet that's been mentioned before? How many hardcore Star Wars fans would have got excited if they'd seen Cardia appear on screen rather than Yadu, where the planet where Galen Erso died? Or what about in Rogue One when Cassian Andor met his informant and he killed him? Spoiler alert. Instead of the rings of Catherine, how about it be Nar Shaddaa, the smuggler's moon, which orbits the home planet of the Hutts, Nal Hutta? Just seeing that for a split second, it wouldn't have mattered to non-big Star Wars fans because they don't know what the rings of Catherine are. All they care is what's happening there. If it had been Nar Shaddaa, it would have not only expanded the universe, we would have got to see Nar Shaddaa, and we would have had more Star Wars fans having, that's Nar Shaddaa, we finally got to see Nar Shaddaa in canon. It would have been great. These changes would not have taken away from the story, and it does not make this universe smaller, as we've barely even seen these planets. So it actually expands the universe as well, and doesn't make it totally huge, where we see a planet that we'll never go back to. At least they'd be using one that we've already heard mentioned. Now, a lot of these planets were explored massively in Star Wars EU, which unfortunately is no longer canon. They're now considered legends. I will keep referring back to legends and how they were used in legends. So without further ado, let's start with number 5. I want to see Bothelwy.
A lot of spying goes on, and Bothelwy is one of the more active hubs for operatives from around the galaxy. The Empire has its own spies here, so does the Alliance, and they've all pretty much decided to just let the place be neutral territory.
Now, Bothelwy hasn't actually been mentioned in the films or in the new canon, but the species who lived there in Legends have been, and I think they should still use that name. And I'm, of course, talking about the Bothans. Now, the only line we get now in canon, thanks to all Legends being erased, many Bothans died to bring us this information. Who are they? In Legends, they are canine/feline humanoid creatures. Okay? They have a massive spy network. They're expert spies and politicians. I think it would be amazing to see Bothelwy and the Bothans just because of there's a creature we haven't really seen before. As I said, they're spies, politicians, and they're also in Legends, which I think they need to bring back into canon, is that they are very proud people. In some ways, a bit xenophobic. They think they're better than others, or a lot of them do. And I just think seeing that sort of nature from these creatures would be something interesting in the Star Wars universe. Because we always, in the Empire, humans are better than everyone. But to see some alien creatures who think they're better than humans will actually be a different spin in the Star Wars universe. The planet would be ideal to see in an anthology film set during the Rebellion era. Maybe even in the Old Republic era. But in the Rebellion era, we could see spies rushing into the planet. We don't have to do the Death Star plans because they don't want to do a rehash of Rogue One. It could be a hideout for people in the Resistance. It could be a stopover. That is fully pledged to the Rebellion, and it is an open rebellion against the Empire. And I think that would be really interesting. Another way we could see it is in the saga films, maybe in Episode 9. Now, Hosnian Prime has been destroyed. We found out in canon novels that the capital actually moves around. It's not Coruscant all the time. It's not Hosnian Prime all the time, or it can't be anyway, because it's now destroyed. Maybe it moves to Bothelwy. Now, Who wouldn't want to see more dolphins to learn how they died to bring us this information? The next planet we're probably going to see in the upcoming Han Solo film, and I'm of course talking about
Corellia revolutionised the shipbuilding industry, pioneered hyperspace travel, founded the Republic.
Not only is it the home planet of Han Solo, but it's the home planet of Wedge Antilles and General Crix Medina as well. Quite a few Central Rebellion figures. And also, its shipyard industry has already played a key role in the saga films. Tantive 4 is a Corellian corvette, and there are other types of Corellian ships as well. They have one of the biggest shipyards in the galaxy, or so it was said in Legends. But I believe that is still the case in canon. Could they have Corellian corvettes otherwise? Not only are there shipyards to explore on Corellia, but there's so much more, and a lot they could take from the EU, including the criminal element, the political dissident of Corellia. Corellia is actually one of 5 habitable planets in the Corellia system, and at one point in the EU, they actually try and break away from the New Republic, this 5-planet system, against the whole New Republic. What were they thinking? Other things they can explore is Corsair. Now, Corsair in the EU, like Corellia's version of the FBI, but there's also a lot of corrupt people in Corsair. Who wouldn't want to see a police drama set in the Star Wars universe involving Corsair? That sounds great. Why don't they do it? Seriously. If we do not see Corellia in the Han Solo film, not only will I be mad, so will a lot of other Star Wars fans. Next is Kessel.
Kessel has always been last on my list of places in the galaxy I'd like to see.
Kessel is another world relating to Han Solo. You might recognise Kessel from the Kessel Run, which Han Solo can do in under 12 parsecs. In Legends, it is an asteroid-shaped planet. Now, it is simply an inhospitable world where there is a great deal of spice mines. Now, spice in Star Wars is basically drugs, and the Empire controls Kessel during the Empire days, but a lot of the time it's controlled by Hutts or other criminal elements. And it is where the Empire sent a lot of their political prisoners or alien prisoners to go work in the mines of Kessel. What's so key about Kessel in Legends is it is right next to the Maw cluster, which is a cluster of black holes. Now, this is where Han Solo has to fly really close to avoid Imperial detection, and also dumps his spice, which annoys Jabba the Hutt. But just seeing a cluster of black holes and Han Solo having to fly through these gravitational distortions to escape the Imperials would be a great chase scene and action scene in the upcoming Han Solo film. And I so hope we see Kessel. Now, the next one out of all the other planets I've talked about, we have seen the most of because it appeared in quite a few episodes of the Clone Wars TV series. Now, I'm of course talking about Mon Calamari.
Troubled is the planet Mon Calamari. Its races have divided. The droid army of the Quarren Isolation League moves against the Calamari Council. Alone, the Calamari are no match. Intervene we must.
But with 2 great Mon Calamari characters, and both of them admirals, Admiral Raddus and Admiral Akbar, how have we not seen their home planet? A planet all of water. Now, yes, I know what you're going to say. We saw Camino. That's a planet full of water. Yes, but they just live in cities on stilts above the water. On Calamari, they have floating cities that float on the water and move. They also have cities underneath the water. And it's not just the Calamari we can see, or the Mon Calamari. It's not just the Mon Calamari we would see by going to Mon Cala, but we would also see the Quarren, these squid-like people who we have seen in the background in some of the films. And there's a lot of other sea life creatures as well. What's so interesting about this planet is both the Quarren and Mon Calamari are native to this planet. And the Quarren are quite sort of feel like they're more superior than the Mon Calamari. We're talking about 2 races. One says they're superior than the other. Does that sound familiar? I think it'd be great to explore this planet just to be able to commentate on 2 races, one thinking they're more superior than the other. It would be a very good analogy for certain things that are happening today. And what's even better, with Aquaman already shooting and the test footage looking incredible, we know they have the technology to be able to pull off a majority of the film underwater. Now, on to some honourable mentions before I get to my number 1 planet. My first honourable mention is Alderaan. Now, yes, we have seen Alderaan in Revenge of the Sith, but like 2 sweeping shots. I want to explore more of it before it gets destroyed. And my second honourable mention is Harloth Minor. I'm not going to say any more. Let me know in the comments below if you get that reference. Now, the final planet that I think we must see in future Star Wars films that has only been mentioned in films is Dantooine.
Dantooine? That's in the middle of nowhere. That's the whole point. Where else could the rebels hide?
Now, Dantooine is the planet where Leia falsely said the rebel base was when she was being interrogated by Grand Moff Tarkin. Now, she said Dantooine because it actually was a rebel base. They evacuated from Dantooine to Yavin 4. We get to see this in the novel Lost Stars, where the Imperial troops go to investigate Dantooine after Leia told Tarkin it was on Dantooine. They find an abandoned rebel base. Now, we have already seen a bit of Dantooine in Star Wars Rebels Season 3, but only from above the planet. It was the rendezvous point where Mon Mothma met the rest of the rebel leaders and the rebellion was formed. And I then thought, oh, we're going to see them on a base on Dantooine, we're going to see them evacuate to Yavin 4. But by the end of Season 3, General Dodonna is already at Yavin 4, and in Season 4, in the trailers, we know they're already going to be on Yavin 4. So again, we've missed our chance to see Dantooine. The annoying thing is we almost saw Dantooine twice so far in the last 2 live-action films. In The Force Awakens, originally they planned for it to be the location of Starkiller Base, and the First Order having retrofitted the abandoned rebel base to serve their own purposes and recreate and make it Starkiller Base. And then in Rogue One, we were going to see the evacuation of Dantooine to Yavin 4, but it was cut due to budgetary constraints. I also think Dantooine would be perfect because of its expansion in Legends. Now, in the Knights of the Republic, we got to visit Dantooine, and I think Dantooine would be the perfect place to either explore the Rebellion more in an anthology film, but also the perfect place to visit when we get an Old Republic film, finally. In the Old Republic game, Dantooine had a Jedi training academy. But what's so great about Dantooine is not only that it had a Jedi academy, also a great fauna collection from Kinrath to Calfhound to so many others. And it also had crystal caves as well. Crystal caves where they get the crystals for lightsabers. I think Dantooine is a perfect world to explore in an upcoming anthology film. Now, what did you think of these ideas? Do you even want to see these 5 planets? Do you not really care? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter, link is in the description below, and subscribe for more. Until next time, I'm Jordan Wiltshire. Bye.